I want you to think about this for a minute. You come to this country legally. You go through the processes. After you come here, you establish a small business. You work really hard with all of your family members. And you're able to live in a nice community, a gated community.
Mm-hmm.
You're Asian American. Do you know, out of the 9 arrests we made in this case, 7 of our victims were Asian American. They were targeted. We are also looking at the possibility of whether or not this was a hate crime. And the people that committed this hate crime against these wonderful Americans, many of them came to this country, or their forefathers came to this country to start businesses and be successful and live the American dream, were victimized by a bunch of illegal aliens who came here as criminals to do criminal acts. And that's what we're going to talk about today. This all started for us here in the Sheriff's Office in March of 2023 with some high-end burglaries and high-end thefts. It's called the SATG. It's South American Theft Group. Now, it's not new to this country. In fact, we have groups from Colombia and South America working all across the United States as we speak. They're focusing on high-end houses. They're focusing on business owners, local business owners. And these 4 folks that I'm going to talk to you about for a few minutes, guess how they all got here across the southern border?
It had to be. I I don't know. I just can't believe the times that we're living in right now. But this epidemic, as you can see, is not only in New York and Texas and Illinois. It has spread out throughout the country, and because of the how would I say this, idiotic policy put in place by Kamala. It's an open border country. Every state, city in the nation is an open border. It's gonna come to a city near you, and at some point it's gonna be in your door.
They're all here illegally. Well, some of them are not here, and I'll explain that. So why you have a group of Asian Americans that came here legally, or their parents did, are running beautiful restaurants. You have this group of folks who have stolen, that we've documented, just about $1.7 million from them in cash,
Wow.
in jewelry, and high-end jewelry, in clothes. And think about this. What makes these folks so really, really dangerous? They are professional burglars. This is organized retail or organized criminal conduct at retail facilities such as our Asian American restaurants. What's interesting about this is they go to the restaurants and they photograph the outside of the restaurant, the inside of the restaurant. They not only photograph the restaurants, they determine who the owners are. They do their due diligence. They search the public record. They identify the owners. They set up surveillance and counter surveillance. They follow these people to their homes. Then they photograph their homes. And they look at their alarm systems. And they look at the cameras in the neighborhood. And they have Wi-Fi jammers and ways to bypass alarm systems. And then once they have their victims patterned, then they attack. They will dress in burqas, They will dress in lawn maintenance equipment, uniforms, like they were there with the lawn service. They will ride scooters through the neighborhood. They'll be wearing jogging clothes. And once they see that the path is clear, that's when they break in and steal large amounts of items.
Wow. And I mean, I've only seen this type of thing in movies, but now it's a reality. Like they are casing the places they are going to attack. Think about that for a minute. Like we always see those type of things in movies, but that is our reality right now. It went from petty theft of Amazon packages to these illegal immigrants, criminals, scumbags doing home invasions to sophisticated robberies. They are casing the places they are going to attack using Wi-Fi jammers to bypass security. These are the type of people Harris is still letting in, flying in, might I add. Because they do have another policy where they are flying these immigrants in from south of the border, from Guatemala. They are just flying them in on our tax dollars. Yet we have millions of veterans that are homeless. But he's gonna put it in a better way in a few.
Here's what we know. In this group, we've solved one burglary, Pasco solved one, Pinellas solved one, Manatee solved one, Hillsborough solved 5, and Collier County has solved one. That's the $1.7 million in loss.
Wow.
But there are many other burglaries. And in addition to that, these folks came through areas like Kansas and New York, and we suspect when this video and this press conference is released, we'll have law enforcement detectives scratching their heads who are working high-end burglaries going, my goodness, that's the exact profile of what I'm looking for as well. It's scary when you think about it. Once again, these folks come here and they have successful businesses. And it's reported to us at least one of the businesses has been totally wiped out. In fact, they're not even open any longer. And then we get to the point that I want to make. The key to solving this crime all began with a simple traffic stop by a deputy sheriff assigned to Eagle Lake in Polk County. One of our deputies stopped this car for a traffic violation. We were able to put all 4 of these people together in the same car. And we made the appropriate charges, but more importantly, that young deputy documented everyone that was in that car on that day. Our detectives, who had been working diligently to solve this because these burglars are very, very good, said we've got our toe into the door now. So our team set up with FDLE and the Hillsborough Sheriff's Office. We followed these folks and we followed them from their home in Orange County in 2 different vehicles. As they came through Polk County, they stopped in Plant City. Guess what they did in Plant City? They started surveilling their next victim.
Wow.
So we watched that, wondering if that's where the hit was going to be. Then they left there and went further into Hillsborough County, into the unincorporated area. and they stopped to change clothes to get in their burglary clothes. And then they stopped to steal a tag and put it on the vehicle. And then they went to attack the house.
This is like a movie. They were taking all the steps we see in movies. It's just surreal. It's just surreal. The chaos we're in now because of Harris and Biden. I how do you explain that to your citizens? And yet you are not doing anything to fix this problem. And every time they ask you, what are you gonna do, or what are you willing to do to fix this problem? You answer the same bullshit that you're just working on making the border more secure. Because that's just bullshit. As we can see, you don't have a process. You're just letting everyone in. And in letting everyone in, flying people in, you are putting your citizens in danger because a good part of those people coming in are all criminals.
Well, because of the incredible work by my detectives, the incredible work by the Hillsborough detectives, the incredible work by the FDLE agents, we were able to arrest them in that burglary. And I'm going to give you the date on that. It was actually on April the 23rd of this year. And I want you to follow that April the 23rd as I go forward. We served subsequent search warrants and we recovered very little property.
Of course.
Very little. We got very little evidence. They are moving their stolen goods out of the area quickly. They use different names. And their goal is they have no fear. And why do they have no fear? Because we don't have a broken immigration system in the United States of America. We have a non-existent immigration system in the United States of America.
Exactly. There's no immigration system right now. There's an open border policy, which is the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. And then yet they have no process in bringing these people in. So there's no immigration process. What should be done is they should stop all immigration. They should stop all immigration at the border. They should shut down, they need to shut down immigration at the border. Nobody comes in, and everyone that's there, deported right the fuck out. Until they come up with a better process of vetting people and knowing who's a criminal or not. And even in that case, you shouldn't have such an immigration influx because it's weighing down the economy and the system in the countries. Too many people coming in too fast. When people come in legally, it's a process. It takes time. And it's designed to take time so it doesn't weigh down on the economy and the system. But this influx of people just coming in, I am not against them, but they need to all get deported because at the end of the day, they came in through the border illegally, which is a felony. So they need all of them need to be deported. That is the sad truth, unfortunately.
Now, if you will, go with me for a few minutes. I've got to read this because it's so complex, but I want you to get an idea. Let's start with Geraldine Galano Perez. She's 33. She has a long, violent criminal history in Colombia. She comes to the United States across the Mexican border. She's a catch and release. So she enters on July the 13th, 2021. They catch her and they give her a notice to appear. And guess what? Does she appear?
Of course
No.
not.
So they catch her, they give her a notice to appear, and poof, she's gone. By the way, they'll give you a plane ticket so you can fly to wherever you want to go.
Do you hear that? Same thing I was saying. They, as soon as you come to the border, you get a free cell phone. Well, not you, they get a free cell phone, even though they coming in legally and they are illegally in this country. They give them a free cell phone, cash, and a plane ticket wherever you want to go. How are you using our tax dollars for such, I don't even know what to call it. Because if I were to go, hey, I need a cell phone because I don't have any resources to pay for a cell phone, they'll probably laugh at my face. More than likely. Yet they are paying flights for criminals to go across state lines wherever they need to go. And of course, he's not gonna show up. If you went over a border into a country illegally, they catch you, they release you, they give you a date to show up in court. And you know when you show up, they're going to deport you. Are you gonna show up? Of course not. They shouldn't release them in the first place. They should deport everyone as soon as they come in. No release them, no nothing. Just you come in, okay, we deport you right out, which is what Trump was doing.
And that's at the taxpayer's expense. So on 12/15/22, and then again in 23,
At the taxpayer's expense, at our fucking expense.
the federal judges in New York ordered her removal. On 4/23/24, that's the date we arrested her, we put her in the Hillsborough County Jail under a $32,500 bond. She bonded. She was turned over to ICE. ICE said, now keep in mind, there's an order of deportation in place. We don't have any room for her.
We don't have any room. Can you believe that? There's an order of deportation for this person, and ICE says, we don't have any room. Motherfucker, you don't need any room. Just put her ass in a plane and deport her. Just like you bought a ticket to send her to wherever she says she needed to go. You get her, you buy another ticket, and you send her out of the country. That's it. Make a better process. Create a better process.
There's an order to move her. We don't have any room to hold her. So they release her, and she's bonded. She was supposed to have a state ordered GPS put on her if she made bond and was released. The federal government said, we don't have any GPSs.
Of course they did.
So did they hold her and refer her back or get the state to come over and put a GPS on her? Of course not.
Of course not.
So we
This is a
scrambled
joke.
around, our detectives, when we heard, hey, she's about to be released because we know she is smoke in the air, she's gone. And we get an arrest warrant for her. And we put her in the Polk County Jail.
Well done. Every chef county in the nation, every state, every city, every sheriff should be like this guy. If they all would do the same thing that he does, as proactively as he acts, I'm not gonna say it's gonna solve the problem, but it would take it down. A big knot.
Are you ready?
I am
In the
ready.
Polk County Jail, she's got a $5.6 million bond.
Wow.
And we know exactly where she is. Because you see, we have a criminal justice system in Polk County.
Yes.
We have a system where we're not going to let these folks torment people in our community. She's got dozens and dozens of charges pending against her. And she is a very, very violent, dangerous person. Where her boyfriend is Milton Sierra. Now listen, follow me for a second. Geraldine and Milton. Doesn't that sound like Hispanic names to you? Just saying. Her boyfriend is 25, so she's a cougar. And he
Okay, she's a cougar. I like this guy. I like this. Hey, every sheriff in the nation should be like him and should be working the way he works.
comes across with her, so he's a catch and release where they give him a notice to appear. And he is remanded to have a GPS at some point in this process. And it's so confusing. Understand, I'm boiling this down. So does he show up for his notice to appear? Of course not. Does he ever get this GPS put on him? If he does, it's removed.
Oh my
He
goodness.
removes it. So once again, on 12/15/22 and then again in 23, the courts, the New York judge, federal judge, orders him deported. So he's arrested on April the 23rd by all of our team for this burglary, where his bond is $32,500. But he is turned over to ICE. They send him to the Chrome Detention Center. They're about to deport him, okay? He's on his way out. So we said, no. We tell the federal government, no, don't deport him. We got some really, really serious charges on him. Help us out. Help another law enforcement agency out. Well, they were more intent on helping the criminal out.
Wow.
Did you hear what I said? I want to make that perfectly clear. ICE was more intent on helping the criminal out. I mean, there's plenty of people for them to choose to deport. They can certainly, right, find somebody else to sit in that seat to deport.
Like his girlfriend.
So we get with our friends at Kissimmee Police Department who have a stolen property charge out of a pawn shop. They file a case against him. So he goes from Chrome back to the Osceola Sheriff's Office, where he's given another bond. As soon as he makes bond, they send him back to the Chrome Detention Center again. They're now going to deport him. And we're telling them, hey, we got a major investigation underway. Just put him on hold at Chrome. No way.
Wow.
They deport him. He's gone. He's pending all kinds of very serious charges here, and he's gone. Well, some people would say, hey, he's out of the country.
So the person that they should have deported, which is her, the woman, they didn't deport. And the person they shouldn't have deported, because it would have been better if he would just stay in jail and probably then go to prison based on the charges, because he is a menace to society. Well, just like her, but he has more charges. They did deport him, which makes no sense because since we have no immigration system at the moment, he's just gonna get right back in. And then he's free and clear because whenever he comes back in, law enforcement is not gonna know where he is. I'm telling you, we need to kick Kamala and Biden out. We don't need them. They have fucked up this country.
He'll be back if he's
Exactly.
not already. Now we don't know where he is. He may be in a gated community near you, someplace in the United States, because we know his girlfriend's here and his children's here. I don't suspect he's going to stay in Columbia very
Of
long.
course not.
I don't think he'll want to come back to Polk County because his girlfriend's already shown, hey, if they get a hold of you here, they will keep you locked up the best they can. But did I mention that in the middle of all this, NYPD had arrested him for 2 felonies?
Wow.
And one of them, he had previously cut his GPS. So NYPD has him in custody. He'd already cut a GPS. They had orders on him. Do they grab him there? NYPD is not allowed to talk to
What?
ICE. So
Wow, that's insane. So the entity, the legal entity in charge of getting these people out of the country, or at least safeguarding the immigration process, are basically working against law enforcement when it comes to these cases. They wanted to keep him in jail. They deported him. NYPD arrested him. They were supposed to go get him. They never did because NYPD is not allowed to talk to ICE. Is that even like what is that? They're supposed to be working together to fix its shithole. Man, it's just ridiculous.
he's released from NYPD's felonies, and they still have charges pending on him there. Jason Ruiz is 42. He says, we're all friends from our border days. At least that's his statement. On 12/30/21, he comes across the border illegally through Arizona.
Of course.
And he's paroled because there's no space to hold him.
Then
He
him.
receives, or there's one issued, I don't know that he had a forwarding address. Denver ICE does a notice to appear. Someplace in the middle of all this, and we've not been able to nail it down, he's filed for asylum. So we go on, and it's now January of 2024. Kansas Highway Patrol arrests him for DUI.
Wow.
And he bonds. Then he comes to Polk County. We arrest him for no driver's license, and he bonds. We report all of our arrests to ICE. Do they put a hold on him? No.
Oh my goodness.
I imagine Kansas reported him to ICE too. Obviously, they didn't hold him because we arrested him. The 4-6 arrest for no driver's license is how we got into this thing. And then, of course, he's arrested when we catch him with our team with a burglary in progress. Now, when we arrest him in Hillsborough County, he's given a $32,500 bond. Okay? And he bonded. He posted it. ICE looks at him and goes, hey, he's here on an asylum status, and they don't hold him when he's turned over to them.
It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, guys. Like, these guys have committed felonies, crimes that are documented. They've been arrested for these crimes. And then when it's time to charge them, at least this one, well, he's on an asylum. Like he's got asylum by us. Can somebody tell me why didn't they just reverse the asylum? He is clearly a criminal. He has felonies already. He came through the border illegally. That's another felony. Why are you giving this person an asylum? Can somebody tell me to this day why is the border still open? It just doesn't make any sense. You see what's going on in Ohio. You see what's going on in Illinois. You see what's going on in Aurora, Colorado with the apartment complex. New York, an NYPD officer was attacked and they stole his car. All these illegal immigrants, criminals. Why is the border open? The Venezuelan gang, who already said they're going to fire upon any law enforcement member they come in contact with. That's declaring war, basically. So why in the fuck is the border open? I don't understand, guys. If you guys agree with me, drop it in the comments. If you guys don't, also drop it in the comments. You can go watch the entire video at the First Coast News YouTube channel. It's about 35-40 minutes long. And you can watch some of my other videos. They're going to be here and here. Like and share the video. Also subscribe to the channel to support me and have a blessed and exclusive day. Peace.